Have you ever thought about why your belly button sits right in the middle of your body, but hardly anyone talks about it? It's odd. When you're little, you notice it, touch it, maybe even try to cover it. But as you grow older, you stop paying attention to it. Still, it remains, a scar, a sign, a reminder of something that once gave you life. When you were born, the first thing they did was cut a cord. Not your skin, not your body itself. They cut the cord that once fed you and kept your heart beating before you even had a name. But cutting that cord was more than just a physical act. It was the start of forgetting. Nobody told you that this spot, where your belly button is, was more than a reminder of birth. It was a kind of antenna, a living one, that could sense, feel, and guide you. Long ago, people knew how to protect and respect it. But over time, we stopped using it, not because we meant to, but simply because we stopped caring. And that forgetting became normal. It became part of our everyday lives, part of the silence around us. Yet here you are, hearing this now, maybe because something inside you still remembers. Something inside still wants to reconnect. And as you continue, you'll see that what you thought was lost is still here, waiting to wake up. Have you ever noticed how sometimes a part of your body can suddenly feel different or mean something new? No one tells you why, but you just sense it. Like looking in the mirror one day and feeling that something has shifted. It's not what you see outside, but something inside, a quiet feeling, a new question. That's how you start to remember things you were never taught. And it all begins with a simple question, one that ancient people used to ask but we've forgotten. Why is the belly button right in the center of the body? Not in the heart, not in the head, but right in the middle, at the point of balance. Ancient cultures believed that this wasn't by accident. They saw it not just as a mark on the body, but as a gateway, a center where energy flows. The Vedas talked about the Navel chakra, a power center that could move your awareness up or down. They didn't call it a belly button like we do today. They called it the inner sun, the central fire. They understood that this spot wasn't only about the body or the mind, it was where the two came together. In Mesoamerican cultures, this place had deep meaning too. The name of Mexico, Mexico, means, in the belly button of the moon. Why would a whole culture name their land after a belly button? Because they knew this spot stood for origin, connection, and grounding. The ancient Egyptians understood this too. Many of their drawings of the human body show a sun symbol or spiral at the center of the stomach, not for decoration, but because of its deep meaning. It was a sign, a visual reminder that this spot connected us to the stars. But now, we cover it up, dress over it, ignore it. When was the last time you touched your belly button with full awareness? When did you give it any attention? When did you feel it move as you breathed? We don't do this, because we were taught it didn't matter, just an old scar with no real use. But for those who still remember, there's nothing more important than this center, because everything balances from here. You breathe from here. This is where your core is. In Tibetan practices, monks place a warm stone on their belly button during meditation. It's not for the outer body, it's to wake up the inner heat, the subtle fire that the ancients called tumo. This heat doesn't come from the chest. It rises from the lower center, where the upper and lower parts of you connect. And when someone loses touch with this center, they lose their balance. Their focus moves to the mind. They disconnect from the earth and live in their head, not in their body. They look for answers outside, even though the key was always in the middle. And I can't blame them. I can't blame anyone, we were never taught this. But that doesn't mean it's gone. The body still knows, it remembers. Sometimes all it takes is a simple intention to wake that memory up. Touch your belly button right now, not to figure it out, but just to feel it. Because maybe that spot holds more than just your origin. Maybe the antenna that once linked you to everything is still working and can reconnect you again. When you're a child, everything is connection. You feel before you think. You pick up on things you can't explain. You know when someone loves you, even if they don't say it. You sense things before they happen, even when no one tells you. That's not magic. It's the body. It's being present. It's built into us, like an invisible radar, a quiet antenna inside that picks up things you can't see. But over time, that fades. Not all at once, not from a big shock. It fades slowly, like a candle going out as the sun rises. First soft, then forgotten. But what if that wasn't by accident? What if the cut they made when you were born wasn't just about the body, but had a deeper meaning? Think about it. The moment you come into this world, before you take your first breath, someone cuts the cord that connected you to your source. No words, no goodbye, no ceremony, just a quick, practical act. But also cold. It ends a connection that had been there from the start, a link between your body and its root. What used to be a flow is now closed off. What used to be a channel is now a scar. What was once a center is now forgotten. From that moment, the slow process of disconnecting begins. No one tells you that this point still holds something more. No one teaches you how to listen to it. No one speaks about what was once there. And without that guidance, you grow up never paying attention to your center. You get used to ignoring it, but your body never forgets. That cut wasn't just about the body, it was cultural, spiritual, and energetic. Think about how many times you've been told to rise. Lift your thinking, clear your mind, open up your awareness. Everything points upward, toward the head. But what about your base? Who taught you to connect with the center? Who taught you to look downward, to feel, to live in the place where it all began? Modern spirituality always points us toward the stars, but forgets that the first antenna isn't up there. It's right in the center of your body, where the cord was cut. And I'm not talking about some dark conspiracy. I'm not blaming doctors or science. This is something much more subtle, something deeper, a kind of shared forgetting passed down through generations. As if we've all been disconnected from something vital, and no one remembered that we were once connected. Yes, they taught us to use our minds, but not how to connect with our center. They taught us how to walk, but not how to stay grounded. They taught us how to speak, but not how to listen to the signal inside us. That's where the antenna was lost, not by force, but by making us believe it was never there. And what happens when you stop using something? It weakens, it goes to sleep, it fades until it's just a faint echo. That's what happened to our inner antenna. It wasn't ripped out, it was covered in silence. And that silence became normal. But now, you might notice something, a quiet buzz. Sometimes you feel a vibration inside for no clear reason. A tingling, an emptiness, a sense that something's missing, though you can't explain it. That's not always anxiety. It could be a signal. The antenna trying to wake up. Yes, even though it's been asleep for so long, it's still there, waiting for someone to remember, to touch it, to listen. You don't need fancy techniques, or gurus, or years of training. You just need something we should never have lost. Intention. Presence. Breath. And your body. Because while the world keeps telling you that what matters is out there, something inside is still whispering, I'm here. I never left. You just stopped listening. And now, you're about to remember how to turn it back on. Sometimes it's not about learning something new, it's about remembering what you already knew before the noise of life made you forget. When you truly listen to your body, it doesn't answer with words. It speaks through feelings, sensations, pulses, a quiet knowing you can feel, even if you can't explain it. That's what happens when you start touching your belly button with a new intention. Not seeing it as a scar or a leftover mark, but as a center. An energetic, emotional, and vibrational center that has been ignored for far too long. But now that you're here, something inside you has already been switched on. You might not have known it, but that antenna is still there. It didn't disappear. It was simply waiting for you to notice it. We're not talking about magic or special techniques. We're talking about coming back to your body, being present in your center, a feeling you've forgotten. You don't need to do much, just pause. Yes, just like that. Stop looking at the screen for a moment. Don't try to figure it out. Close your eyes if you can and place your right hand on your belly. Feel your belly button without thinking. Just breathe, softly. Not as an exercise, but as if you're coming home after a long time away. That first breath out already begins to wake something up. When you touch that point and breathe into it, you're starting to do what the ancients knew. Breathing is the key. The body is the doorway. And the belly button is the lock that breathes from the earth. Picture a golden thread rising from deep inside the planet, moving up through your feet, your legs, and reaching your belly. Feel it winding around, grounding you, lighting you up. Now as you breathe out, imagine that same thread moving upward, up your spine, through your chest, throat, forehead, and out the top of your head, like an antenna stretching between two worlds. Do this 3 times. There's no rush. No need to force it. Just be present. That's the antenna I mean. The cord that was once physical can now be energetic. This isn't your imagination, it's energy in your body. It's how your body works spiritually and biologically. There are thousands of nerve endings in your belly. The enteric nervous system in your gut is more than a messenger, it's its own intelligence. And every time you breathe from your center, you wake up that network. You reactivate the flow. You tell yourself, I'm here. I'm in my body. I'm balanced. You don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to do it every day. It's enough to remember it when you need it, when life pulls you in all directions, when your mind feels scattered. Come back to your center. Place your hand there. Breathe. Remember. And if you want to go a little further, turn it into a simple ritual. You don't need incense or candles. You just need your body, your breath, and your intention. Place both hands over your belly button, form a circle with your fingers. Close your eyes and say softly, or silently in your mind, something simple but true, I reconnect my center with the earth and the sky. I'm back. You can say it 3 times or just once. It doesn't matter how often, what matters is that you feel it. The more you do, the more this antenna comes alive, not outward, but within. And the best part is, you start to notice things, small changes, little signs, clear choices, a silence that doesn't feel empty but gives you a sense of direction. Then you understand. It wasn't just an exercise, it was a way to come back to yourself. A way to remember that you were never truly disconnected, you had just forgotten how to listen. And that spot, your belly button, which you never really paid attention to, now becomes your guide. Your center, your rhythm. That's your antenna, and now it's switched on. Something shifts when you wake up a part of your body you had ignored. It's not about seeing visions or hearing voices. It's simpler and deeper. It's like something inside you starts to settle, like your thoughts aren't as loud. Your emotions don't take over like they used to, not because they're gone, but because now you have a better place to look at them from. And that place matters. Maybe before, you were living from your head, reacting, always rushing. But now, you're living from your center. Do you feel the difference? You're not so far away anymore. You're not chasing approval as much. You stop running after answers, because now something inside you, calm, steady, strong, is holding you from within. The funny thing is, it's not about controlling anything. You're not forcing your emotions down. You still feel them, but they don't throw you off balance, because you're grounded, because your antenna is working again. And this antenna isn't just an idea. It's your center, a link between your deepest self and the world around you. And here's where many people are surprised. They think this kind of work will make them feel disconnected from life. But it does the opposite. When you come back to your center, you also come back to the world, but with a new view. You start to experience things in a new way. Your body no longer feels like just a machine, it feels like a temple. The places around you no longer seem random. They feel like energy fields. The people around you aren't problems, they're mirrors. And life doesn't seem like a fight anymore, it feels like a flow you can move through, guided by an intelligence that comes from inside you, not from the outside. And all of this starts at your belly button. Yes, it might sound small or even silly. How could something so simple change so much? But it's not the belly button itself, it's what it stands for, what it can activate. That point is where two important lines meet, the vertical line that links you to the earth and sky, and the horizontal line that connects you to the present moment. And where those two lines cross, you create the center, the axis, where you can live without getting lost, where you can watch life without running away, act without forcing things, and feel without getting stuck. And of course, there will be days when you forget. Days when life pulls you in every direction, when you react and feel scattered. But now you know the way back. You're no longer tossed around by chaos, because now you have a center. And that center is real, physical, sacred. It doesn't matter if the world doesn't understand it, or if no one else can see it. You feel it, and that's enough. Living from this place doesn't need approval. It only needs presence, and that presence is what changes everything. When you're connected to your inner antenna, you don't have to control life. You simply listen to it. And from that listening, you act, not from panic or fear, but with purpose, because now you know where you come from. And here's the beautiful part, you don't have to become someone new. You're simply returning to who you already were, before the noise, before the forgetting. The antenna was always yours. You just needed to touch it, breathe with it, and hear what it had to say. And what it says is simple, you're home. Now, you can live from your true self. Maybe you've noticed something has already shifted. Not out in the world, but inside of you. A new feeling, a deeper calm, a fresher energy that's alive. No one gave it to you. The video didn't bring it. You woke it up. This is what happens when you walk back toward a forgotten place. You don't end up in some new space. You come home to yourself. Even though the world still spins with noise, demands, screens, and pressures, you aren't spinning in the same way anymore. You're standing in your center. And this center isn't just a spot in your body, it's a state of being. It's a presence, a quiet agreement between your breath, your body, your soul, and something greater. That something is what the ancients honored. The mystery, the channel, the antenna. On this journey, you've discovered that your antenna isn't just a nice image or a spiritual idea. It's real. It's in you, right in your belly button, where the cord once connected you, and where the memory still lives. And now you know, even though the cord was cut, the connection remains. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And what is felt is more real than anything seen. That's why this isn't a goodbye. It's an anchor. A gentle reminder, you don't need to chase every new idea, every new practice, every outer signal. There is already a place inside you that knows. That place is simple, quiet, but fully alive. And if you ever feel lost again, disconnected, or scattered, remember this small gesture, place your hand on your center. Breathe. Listen. There's no clearer voice than this. It speaks not from fear or obligation, but from your antenna, the same one that connected you to life long before you even knew how to speak. And now, you can use this connection to speak with life, not with words, but with intention. Because this center isn't just yours. It's the same for all living beings. It's where we are equal. It's where separation ends, where the invisible network that connects us all begins. Maybe this is what they wanted us to forget, that we were never truly disconnected. They only convinced us we were alone. But we're not. We never were. The channel was only asleep, and now, you've awakened it. You don't need to tell anyone. You don't need to prove anything. Just live it. Because when you live from your center, it shows, in your eyes, in your choices, in the way you walk, touch, and simply are. And if the world ever asks what changed, you don't have to explain it. Just smile, touch your belly button, and remember. I reconnected. From the place where everything began.